Y'all, I almost lost it. Just driving, I went to Target to make returns, had to return the dumbbells, and there was a Panda Express, and I was like, I want Panda so bad. I didn't go, came back to the hotel, got my meal, headed back down to the lobby to microwave it. So yeah, just eating my meal. Then we're gonna go to the gym, go to sleep, get home to my baby. Okay, so I wasn't gonna make any upgrades for Ben Weeder. I was just gonna like perfect everything. There's just one upgrade I'm thinking about. I literally haven't even tried this. I just think it might actually be easier, or maybe not easier. I think it will actually require exactly the same amount of effort from me, but it will look cooler. So it's my press down. My handstand press down is already sketchy. I can't very well hold handstands. Like I have to walk. So I think if I add a pirouette to it, that will help me because I already pick up my hands and move, and I just feel like a pirouette is more intentional, right? It looks like I'm supposed to be doing that with my hands versus kicking up to a handstand and like doing all this with my hands because I can't hold a handstand. I think a pirouette, it just looks more intentional. So again, it's the same amount of effort for me, maybe even less effort because it's just how I naturally do a handstand, but maybe it looks better. So I'm gonna try 2 different versions of it. Again, I haven't tried this yet, so I don't even know if this is gonna look good or not. So the first version, well, you're gonna find out right now when I say it. Whoa. Okay, I can't do a full pirouette. That's why that was this is the version that I think will be a little bit better for me. Full pirouette's a little much. Let's see how this goes. Oh wait, I already did it wrong. Of course, that was a handstand that I didn't have. Okay. Carpet up. Okay, that's not as easy as I thought it would be. Okay, I gotta find a new version. Let's go here. Okay, I gotta figure it out. But people are at the gym, so I gotta go.
And Peppa.
Peppa, and what's Peppa's brother's name?
George.
George?
George.
George?
George.
George?
George.
George?
George.
That's silly.
George.
Okay, good night. It is Saturday. I think it's the 28th or something. I'm 3 weeks out. 3 weeks out from 3 weeks out, 2 weeks and 7 days, 2 weeks and 6 days, but it doesn't really matter. From Ben Weeder. And let me tell you, your girl is over it. I do not want to do the show. Like, I don't want to do the show. I'm so over this. I'm just like, I have reached the mental wall. And if you are someone who has prepped for an extended period of time, you know exactly what the wall is. It's just when you're just like, no, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this anymore. I've had enough. That's how I feel. I've done 2 shows, obviously, and they were both great. Like, I'm super happy with how I've done. I've clocked some personal bests, and at the beginning of this whole, really not even at the beginning of this, like this little prep season, like literally since the Olympia last year, when I set my plan for this year, I was like, I want to qualify for the 2024 Olympia. Like, Ben Weeder was the show that I was like targeting for. Like, that was my show. Like, Legion was just for fun because it was a show that I've always wanted to do. But I was like, I don't expect to win Legion. It's the last qualifier of the year. It's probably going to be stacked. Like, whatever. Chattanooga, I didn't necessarily count out as a show that I like could win, but I also wanted it on my schedule because I wanted to do it for fun. Like, I was like, yeah, I could win it, but like, that's not like it's not my target show. It's a show I just want to do for the experience because I know it's a great experience. Ben Weeder was literally the opposite. It's a show that I don't even really like that much. The stage is not great. Every single year, at check-ins, they're like, oh, fitness pros, you're gonna do your routines first, and then you're gonna do your 2-piece after, and we're all frazzled, and we're like, that's not how fitness works. We always do the 2-piece first, and this, like, honestly, guys, Ben Weeder's not a great show. I hope the promoters never see this. Ben Weeder's not a fun show. It's not a show I participate in because I like the show. It's a show I participate in because it's the only natural show, and it's like good for me to see, like, it's a good opportunity to do well. And it is always a big show because there are a lot of natural fitness girls, right? So Ben Weider is literally the opposite of the other two. It's a show I don't participate in for fun. It's a show I participate in to do well. And now I'm just like, I don't want to do it because I don't think that I can win that show. So for me, it's like, yeah, doing Chattanooga and doing Legion, knowing that I probably won't win, even though I was hopeful to win, but like I wasn't like expecting to win, right? Doing those shows, knowing that I probably won't win, was fine because I was doing them mostly for the experience, right? They were shows I just wanted to do. But Ben Weider is a show that I literally don't like doing. The only reason I'm doing it is because I want to win a qualification. And just like, honestly, like now that Taylor's doing it, I'm like, you're not gonna win. I personally don't feel, I don't have the skill set, and I'm not like, again, I talk about this with my husband because he doesn't like when I say things like this, but I'm just like, I'm also realistic. I don't have the skill set to put together a routine that will beat Taylor's. She's doing things that our division has never seen on stage before. She, in my opinion, honestly, routine-wise, skill-wise, the only people that I think will come close to Taylor, like at the Olympia, I'll use the Olympia, is Ariel and Jody. I really don't think that anybody else at the Olympia is going to be doing any sort of skills that are remotely close. Like, I think people might have individual skills that can compare. I think that Ariel and Jody are the only two that have the capacity to put together an entire routine full of skills that can kind of come close to Taylor's. So that being said, I'm like, I surely don't. I think off the Olympia stage, I think Abby is another one who can do some really cool skills. Now, that being said, I've beaten Abby before, not in routine though. I've never beaten her in routine. Even at Toronto Pro, we tied routine, because I do have like, more energy. My routines tend to have better flow, like performance value, etc. Right? But it's just like, I don't see myself beating Taylor in the routine. And her physique, she's not super muscular, right? But she's not going to get last place in physique. Like, and honestly, I don't think this lineup is even big enough for physique to matter. And I haven't done my scoring. Video yet. Actually, by the time this video is out, my like how fitness is judged YouTube video will be out. So actually, if you're like, how does that all work together, Andrea? Like, pause this video right now, go watch that video so you can understand what I'm talking about when I say that the lineup's not big enough for physique to matter. And honestly, I think that by Ben Weider, her physique's gonna be better than it was at Legion. And at Legion, it was pretty good. She is a fantastic shape. She has incredible shoulders. She has a tiny waist. And by Ben Weider, she's gonna be even tighter than she was at Legion and the Olympia, right? So for me, I'm just like, you're not going to beat Taylor. So again, and then physique wise, Taylor's not the only one competing at this show that's going to be hard for me to beat. Abby is always a fierce competitor, right? And then I just competed against Michelle. I do think that I can beat Michelle in the routine, but Michelle just smoked me in physique. Now, I might be able to like come in so peeled that my conditioning is like, wow, she's so tight. We're going to get over the muscularity issue. But, Becky's already seen me next to Michelle. She's already put Michelle in third in physique over Stephanie Jones and Kristen Pope, and put me in seventh behind those two and Danielle D. Cheeks, who I beat at Legion in physique. So it's like, I just don't think that my physique is going to be, my physique could be super sharp. I just don't know if my conditioning is going to be enough to outweigh Michelle's muscularity. So it's like, you're not going to win physique, or you're likely not going to win physique. You're definitely not going to win routine. You don't enjoy the show. You don't get any swag. No, like, not that it's all about swag, but like kind of at this point. You don't get any swag. They're probably going to change the schedule up on you and make you do routines first because they don't give a shit about the fitness competitors. Why am I doing the show, right? Like, to maybe win $500? Like, not that $500 is anything to turn your nose up at, but it's just like, if I'm going to have to compete next summer to try to qualify for the Olympia, like, I don't want to be on a diet right now because I'm going to have to start a diet again in January probably, when I wasn't like really planning to start dieting until May. So anyway, that's just where my headspace is at. I'm trying not to like be like that, but we just like, I'm busy at work. I'm at the end of this diet phase. Reagan is really testy right now. Like, dad's sick. Like, it's just a lot. And my lowest priority right now is prep, especially because I had mentioned it in a video. I think it was like episode 4 or something. That I was like, you know, I could give my very, very, very best and still not win. And that's how I feel. Like, I could give my very, very best and still not win, which again was fine for Legion and fine for Chattanooga, but I'm not going to be happy with it for Ben Weider. I already know that. So I'm just like, why am I going to give my best? Why am I going to try? Even though I am trying, because Ruben and Danielle and Taylor told me I have to. So that's why I'm showing up. So anyway, I'm at the gym. I got to train. Maybe I'll be in a better mood after this. Oksana. That's the other person. I knew there was 3. How I was like, nobody's going to be able to keep up with Taylor in skills. Ariel, Jody, Oksana. Those are the 3 people that I think will be able to do multiple comparable skills. Like I said, I think some other people will do a single comparable skill, but I think those are the only 3 that are going to be able to do an entire routine full of skills that are comparable. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things this season, but we'll see. I came to the gym. I was just going to hit my 30 minutes of cardio, or 30 minutes of my cardio. And I sat outside of the gym, watched some Instagram videos. It's like, Andrea, it's only 30 minutes. Like, you can do that. Like, at this point, it's already been 20. I could have been almost done by now, but I couldn't do it. I'm not there right now. So I'm going home. I'm going to go home, see my baby girl. Because she's going to Bakersfield this weekend to see my niece and, you know, my brother and his wife. My parents are taking her. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go hang out with Reagan for 2 minutes before she leaves. And then I got the rest of today to figure out this cardio situation. So I'm not doing it right now. I'm headed to Burn Boot Camp to practice. I don't know if I'm going to get a full out done today. I would like to get a full out done today, but my schedule, like, me and Ruben had some plans, like, to go get our nails done and do some other stuff. And I wasn't supposed to be practicing right now, but the way that our day just panned out, it was like, okay, just like, I was like, should I go practice and do cardio right now instead of doing it later? And he said yes. And so I was just like, I didn't like get mentally prepared for practice. I was just like, okay, I'll go to practice right now. And so normally it's like, I know what time I'm going to practice, and I have like hours and hours and hours and like days to mentally prepare for practice. But this time it was like, yeah, just go to practice right now. And so I just like got up and grabbed my energy drink, and now I'm on my way to the gym. So I don't know what kind of practice it's going to be. Maybe I'll get a full out. Maybe I won't. At the very least, I will get lots of sections done, repped over and over again. Because again, the goal for this show is to make my skills look easy. And so I really want to make sure that, again, I feel confident. So like, I always feel confident that I'm going to do a good routine, right? Like, I know that I can improvise. I know that I can think on the spot. Like, if something happens, like I did at Chattanooga, where I did have a mistake, but nobody knew it was a mistake but me. So I always know that I'm going to do a good routine. But my goal for this show is to not only do a good routine, like to the crowd, but also do the routine as it's supposed to be performed, right? Like, I don't want to miss timing. I don't want to like have weird mistakes. I don't want to have to improvise. Like, I want to do the routine the way it's supposed to be done. And so Ben Weider is my last chance to do that with this routine. You know, I haven't figured out, I've already mentioned the fact that I really don't anticipate winning this show. So I'm also trying to figure out, like, okay, what does my summer schedule look like? Am I going to do this? Am I going to try to do this routine again next summer? Or will I get a new routine for next summer and the Olympia? Or will I do this routine again and get a new routine for the Olympia, assuming I qualify? There's so many things to think about, but I am going to pretend and proceed as if this is my last time doing this routine. So I just want to give it a good go. So yeah, my back hurts. My back does this thing. I have like a really weird spine. I don't have scoliosis or anything, but I just like have a bad back. I don't know if it's a bad back, but like my legs are not the same length. And so I just tend to get back issues. I don't have a chiropractor out here, so sometimes it just like doesn't feel great, and it feels like that right now. But it doesn't really doesn't affect my exercise. It just affects like my daily life. It's really weird. Anyway, my back hurts. So hopefully I'll still have a good practice. I mean, I still expect to have a good practice. I just don't know if I'm going to get a full out done. So we'll find out together, everybody. Also, today's energy drink of choice, Ruben brought this home, Rise Fuel. It's Baja Cooler. I think it's supposed to be like Taco Bell. I think Taco Bell's the only place that has Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Excuse me. It doesn't taste like Baja Blast to me, but it does taste like a good dupe. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it doesn't taste like Baja Blast, but it does taste like a good dupe. I don't know how. I literally don't have any other ways to explain it. It's like my crazy yoga outfits, link in bio. Well, I put the link in the link in description. I forgot I'm a YouTube girly now, not an Instagram girly. Crazy yoga is not Lululemon, but it is a good Lululemon dupe. You can tell the difference between the two. But for those of us who are not Lulu stans, it's a good alternative. That's what I feel like this is. It does not taste like Mountain Dew Baja Blast, but for people who like Baja Blast, who ain't into all the sugar, this will do. Rise Fuel Baja Cooler. They have a lot of other cool flavors too. This is not a sponsored ad. They have like a Country Time lemonade one that I've tasted that's pretty good. They have like some cool flavors that you don't see in any other energy drinks. So anyway, we brought it home yesterday. It's zero calories. Because a lot of the other energy drinks that I drink are like 10. Which in the grand scheme of things, is 10 calories a day going to do anything? Not that big of a deal. But 0 is better than 10 when you're in a diet. Okay, at the gym. About to get warmed up. I don't mind my Whitney Houston in the background. I only have one of my wrist wraps, so I keep them like in my shoes like this. And I guess when I was getting my shoes out of my bag, one fell out. And I'm absolutely not going full out without my wrist wraps. I'll do individual skills, but I'm not going full out without those things. Like, that is a good way to get hurt. And to be honest, I'm yelling because the music's in the background. To be honest, doing my skills without wrist wraps is not comparable. Literally, like, the skills feel different. Specifically, like, my holding skills, like my handstand skills, are very different with wrist wraps compared to not. So I'll do some individual skills. I am going to work on one choreography thing, but then I guess I'm just going to go to cardio. Again, oh, we on fire. On my level. Whoa. Okay, remember how I was like, I'm not doing any more upgrades for Ben Weeder. Well, the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Your girl is doing the most. Actually, one's not really an upgrade. It's just like a swap. I think the skills are compared. I think they're like equal. Just one of them I think looks better than the other one. I guess it is an upgrade. So basically, I do that little like pop in star thing. This is not a great view for me to be explaining this, but we're gonna figure it out. Okay, so I do the pop in, where I do that little star before I do my windmill. It's fine. Like, so I'm moving that basically because later in my routine, that little like whoop whoop one arm thing, I don't know, it's just not hitting. I don't think it looks that good. So I'm putting that skill there. But then I had to replace this first one, so I changed it to something else. So I don't know that I'm really calling it an upgrade because, again, the skills are like, they're very, very similar. I'm just like moving things around a little bit. And then there may or may not be another upgrade in the works. I literally just thought of it, and then I was like, you know what? I got to film. So I may or may not be upgrading something else. I'm about to try it and see if it's hard. The skill itself is not hard. I'm trying to make sure that it's not going to make me like too tired, like trying to make sure that it's not going to take away from the rest of my routine, because one thing is that you want to make meaningful upgrades. You don't just want to keep adding stuff just to add stuff. Like, I want to make sure that the things I add value to my routine. Like that one hold that I added in, the headstand one, like was significantly more fluid and impressive than the yoga pose, right? And then this other thing that I'm taking out these because they don't, like, I don't know, I don't think they really add any performance value. I don't think they look cool. I don't think they look hard. Like, so that's why I'm making that change. This other change, it's just an additional skill. It will be more challenging because it's going to take more energy because it previously was just choreography dancing. So I'm gonna see how it goes. Like I said, if I don't feel like it really adds value to the routine, then I'm not gonna add it, because I don't just want to. I do want my routine to be action packed and nonstop, but I also don't want it to feel like it's too much and too hard, especially because the feedback was make your routine look easy. So I don't want to make it so much harder that all the work I did to make all those other skills look easy gets negated, right? So we're gonna see how it goes. And that's it. We're gonna see how it goes with my one wrist wrap. I'm trying to make it work, everybody. The good news is I'm in a great mood. Like, the sun is shining. It's not cold outside. My back does hurt, but I'm just like generally in a very good mood, which is great, because I was not. I mean, yesterday and the day before and all those days, I was not in a good mood. We're gonna see what happens. Okay, I'm doing it. Okay, so sitting outside of the gym. Today is the 30th. I've been a roller coaster, everybody. A full on, like, Six Flags, out of control. So, as you know, because you've been watching this video, and you've been watching this series, I assume, I went from beginning of the season, like, all Ben Weider, everything. I'm going to win Ben Weider. I'm snatching Ben Weider. Literally, up until like 2 weeks ago, that was my mentality. Like, taking no prisoners, no other option but to win Ben Weider, right? Then I found out Taylor was doing Ben Weider, and that just like shut that down for me real fast. Like, I was like, okay, well, I'm for sure not winning Ben Weider. There wasn't even like well, maybe I can still win, like how I had like some optimism at Legion and Chattanooga. Like, I was like, okay, well, definitely not going to win Ben Weider. And so now I don't even want to do it, because Ben Weider's not a show that I do for the experience. It's not a great athlete experience at all. It's not even a good athlete experience. So I was just like, why am I going to do that? After many discussions with myself, with God, with Taylor, and with Danielle, and with Ruben, those are the 5 people that I've like had this conversation in depth with multiple times. I'm not going to quit Ben Weider. I am going to do it. I am still planning and expecting to have to compete next summer. I'm just being realistic. Like, would I love to win? Yes, obviously. Am I going to do my best to try to win? Yes, obviously. But I also am realistic about the skill set that I have. I don't expect to win this show. So I'm also planning some summer shows. However, I just know that if I don't do Ben Weider, I'm going to wonder how I could have done. Maybe you could have won, Andrea. I don't know. Maybe you could have gotten second. Maybe you could, I'm going to wonder how I could have done, right? I also, like, it's only 18 more days. It's not like Ben Weider is 6 weeks away. It's 18 days. Like, my life is not going to be drastically improved by not being in prep for 18 more days. Like, so I'm not really losing a lot to continue to be in prep for less than 3 weeks. The only thing I'm like semi bent out of shape about, not really bent out of shape, but like, is like having to be in prep during the Olympia, because at the Olympia, like, I feel like I'm gonna want to just like be at the expo and tasting things, and like after Ruben's gonna be done after the Olympia, so like Saturday night he's gonna want to eat, and I'm gonna be sitting there at Sbarro Pizza at 2:00 in the morning, like eating chicken, right? Well, not eating anything at 2 a.m. But I'm just like, it doesn't really matter, Andrea. It's 18 more days. And at the very minimum, like, I've already proven to myself that I can be in top 3 in a really good, decent lineup. So at the very minimum, like, I'll come away from this show with money, because I have to go to this show anyway. So it's not like, oh, I'll cancel flights and get money back on the Airbnb and get money back on, like, we have to go anyway. We have multiple amateurs competing. So I'm going to be there anyway. I'm going to spend the money anyway. I'm going to spend the time anyway. At the minimum, like, win myself a cool 500, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 if I win some money. So I'm like, you know what, Andrea, stop complaining. Stop whining about it. Stop being like a poor sport, like, oh, I'm not gonna win, like, who cares? Doesn't matter. So that's what's happening. I am switching up my training. I'm just like super amped up about the powerlifting meet that I watched yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. I just like watched the American Pro, and just saw some insane lifts. So now I'm all like excited about powerlifting season. It is so hot in here. Now I'm all excited about powerlifting season, and it's back day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing my normal back day. I'm deadlifting today. I'm deadlifting. I don't care. It's 18 more days, like I said, of prep. 7 of those days are going to be peak week. So it's really 11 more days. Nothing drastic is going to happen to my body no matter what I do lifting wise. So I'm going to do workouts that I want to do. I'm going to do lifts that I want to do. Some of those things, some of these workouts will be the same. Like my shoulder days will be pretty much the same. Because I like my shoulder days. I like my push days, but I don't really like back day that much. I don't really have a lot of fun on back day. Like, it's fine. But it's not like one of my favorite days. So I'm like, you know what? I'm deadlifting. I like deadlifting. I'm going to deadlift. It's not the only exercise I'm going to do, but like, I want to deadlift. And if I'm going to be in prep for the next 18 days, when I don't really want to be in prep, at the very minimum, I'm going to do lifts that I like doing. So today is heavy back. So I'm doing 2 back days, 2 shoulder days. Well, like 2 back days, a shoulder day, and a push day. Push will be like largely chest and tris and a little bit of shoulders. So one of my back, and a leg day. One of my back days is going to be super heavy, like 3 movements, the heaviest movements I can do in my life, right? I'm going to deadlift, I'm going to T-bar row, and I'm going to bent over row. That's all I'm doing today. The heaviest possible. Then my other back day is like rear delt flies and face pulls and like, you know, my accessory back, like light burners. And then that's kind of the same thing I do for my push stuff. My push day is heavy bench press, overhead press, you know, tricep press downs. And then my shoulder day is like light laterals, front raise, you know, stuff like that. And then my leg day is my leg day. I don't really like leg day regardless of what I do, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's the plan for the next few weeks. Like I said, just to have fun with my training, because I don't really like bodybuilding training. I realized after powerlifting for one season, I realized I don't really like bodybuilding training. It's just not fun. Like, it is fun. Like, it's fun to get a pump and to get a burn. Like, you don't really get that a lot during powerlifting. But I just like how tangible the feedback is in powerlifting. Like, you either got stronger or you didn't. You lifted heavier or you didn't. In bodybuilding, it's not like that. So I'm just going to go back to doing like that stuff that's fun. Because, you know, if you're not having fun, what are you even doing this for? So I think that's how I'm going to mentally get myself through the next few weeks of prep, is to do things that I find enjoyable amongst the things that I don't find enjoyable, like dieting and cardio. And not pooping. So anyway, I'm at the gym. I told Ruben I'd be back in 2 hours because we got to go get our nails done, our toes. He leaves for the Olympia tomorrow. I'm taking Reagan trick-or-treating. Then I leave the next day. So I think that's probably where I'm going to end this video, because I realize like a 4-week long, 3-week long like video is a long video. It's like an hour long, and I just don't feel like editing it down like that. So I'll probably end it here, then give y'all the last 2 weeks, then give y'all peak week, then give y'all show days. Probably going to be 3 more videos of this prep. So we'll see. We're going to see if the video ends right here or if it's 10 more minutes long. We're going to find out together, everybody.